And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your 2022 BGSU Falcons. The goalkeeper wearing number 1 from New Berlin, Wisconsin, tri-captain Lily Bird. Senior from Haddam, the Netherlands, number 2, Jospijn Dijssel. A junior from Traverse City, Michigan, number 7, Maya Dean. A senior from Columbus, number 8, Katie Cox. A freshman from White House, Ohio, number 9, Bryn Gardner. Junior from Lexington, Ohio, number 11, Lacey Buffet. A senior from Macomb, Michigan, number 20, Mackenzie Ruber. Junior from Rochester Hills, Michigan, number 23, Lexi Serwin. Senior from Canton, Michigan, number 24, Kennedy White. Senior from Sylvania, number 25, Mackenzie Ortman. And a sophomore from DeWitt, Michigan, number 30, Isabel Gilmore. Director of Operations, Bernie Compton. Volunteer Assistant Coach Eric Vandermeulen. Assistant Coach Scott Rissler. Associate Head Coach Taylor Buck. And the Head Coach of the Falcons in his 3rd year, Jimmy Walker. And fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of the colors. The colors are being presented this evening by members of the BGSU Air Force ROTC Detachment 620. Please remain standing as we honor America, as well as all those who have served, those who are serving, and those who will be serving in our armed forces with the playing of our national anthem. At the conclusion of the anthem, we ask that you please remain standing until the colors have been retired and decided.
A night action between the Miami RedHawks and the Bowling Green Falcons. And this is a game that's going to have implications down the stretch here with the conference tournament approaching in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Brandon, it's almost like the winner tonight is going to get that chance to get the fourth seed and host a MAC tournament game, the Bowling Green Falcons and the Miami RedHawks. Bowling Green has won the last 5 matchups against the RedHawks. They trailed on the all-time series, 12 wins, 13 losses, and 3 ties, but this should make for a very good one here tonight.
Both teams sitting right there in the middle in contention to host a first-round quarterfinal game. Of course, the way the MAC tournament set up with 6 teams this year, the first and second seed will have the bye. 3 and 4 will host 5 and 6 in the first round of the quarterfinals, and then everything will go beyond that to the number 1 seed host site. Miami with the ball to start. Palmer forward. Taylor Hamlet was there, now outside, back to Palmer. Palmer going to continue to shuffle up this left side of the formation for the RedHawks. It's taken away by Bowling Green. Ruber goes back to Serwin as the Falcons get their first touches of the game. And Lucas, this is a game that's going to be really interesting kind of throughout. We talked a little bit before. Miami is a team that they've committed a lot to their set piece opportunities this year. And for Bowling Green, as we know, that's one of the things they struggled with early on in conference play.
Yeah, it was definitely something they struggled early on in conference play, and just really beginning the season as well. But talking to Coach Walker, it's something that they really wanted to work on was their set piece defending, and it has improved over the last couple of games. But like you said, Miami is very dangerous on those offensive set pieces. It'll be very interesting to see what strategy they go for tonight.
Ball across there from Schreier. Ruber will just send it out. But of course, with that heavy attacking on set pieces that Miami has, you put yourself in a position there to where it may be easier, perhaps, for the other team to break out if they get that opportunity. And as we know, Bowling Green, they've got a lot of speed up top. Yeah,
especially with wingers like Brent Gardner, Lacey Bethea, they could look to hit on the counterattack on their corner kicks and really hit on the counter.
So we'll see how that plays out and when that starts to come into effect. Right now, Miami trying to get into the box. Ruber takes it back away for Bowling Green once again. Forward to defend there. There's Madeline Schleck. Into the middle, Schleck after it again. Back to Izzy Vicari. Vicari, the senior keeper for the RedHawks. All around, Mayadeen, touch back to Mackenzie Ortman. Ortman goes to Katie Cox. She'll swing it out wide to Dysloff. Dysloff forward. Looking in the direction of White. A little bit of contact there. Official going to go over and talk to Kenna White as Madeline Schleck went to the ground.
Yeah, and just to finish up on what we touched on earlier, Brandon, currently in the conference, Bowling Green in 5th with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 3 ties. Miami with 3 wins, only 1 loss, but 4 ties. So it really does put this game in perspective to whoever wins this match tonight. We'll host a game in the tournament, considering both the teams both play Eastern Michigan and Northern Illinois for the last 2 games of the season.
Still some things that could happen. Again, based on those last 2 games, there's a shot that's sent wide off the left foot of Carolyn Palmer, but still some things that could happen in the last 2 games that could have implications on that as well. But certainly if records show where we're at, this could be exactly what we're talking about. This could be a game to decide who plays at home in that quarterfinal round and who has to play on the road. And for Bowling Green, if they get the win here, there's still a very good chance that this Miami team is the team that comes back here in a week and a half. Lily Berg there, the goalkeeper for Bowling Green, another senior. So seniors offsetting in goal, Vicari and Lily Berg. Far side, Miami going back to their defensive line. Bethea trying to play spoiler, but the RedHawks keep it. They go up the right side. Forward, Hamlet. And a foul going to be called on Hamlet. Free kick for Dysloff, well back toward the box. Just over 4 minutes into play. Forward all the way to White. Mayadeen tried to go up and get it and went down to the ground, had to recover there. Out of play, last touch by the RedHawks. Bowling Green will have a throw-in. to Gilmore. Low on the ground, right back to the RedHawks. Miami moving towards the corner of that box. There's a shot fired in, goes out in front of Berg. It might have been an intended pass. There were 3 RedHawks in the vicinity.
Yeah, it was a very dangerous cross end of the box. Touched right into the 6-yard box. Luckily for the Falcons, there's no one up top for the RedHawks to steer that one into the net.
Morrison and Schleck were both there. Now Berg's going to go ahead and send everybody forward for the goal kick. Played away in the air. Couple of touches. Now it finally finds the ground. Bethea trying to get to it and does. Dysoloff up that side. White charging after it. Miami taking it away. And Kenna White, maybe a little bit of an arm extension there on the far side of the field. And here's another look.
Yeah, Kenna White, she's a...
Maybe just a little bit right there.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, and then a little bit after, just kind of follow up that leg in the head. But a couple fouls on White early on. Kenna White's had a pretty successful couple games against the RedHawks in the past season. Kenna White's got 2 goals in her career against the RedHawks. One in a 3-0 win in October of 2020, and one in a 2-0 win in March of last year.
Of course, Kenna White, the leading goal scorer for the Falcons this season by a wide margin. 11 goals on the campaign this season. The best for her since her freshman year. Back to front come the RedHawks. Trying to work through traffic forward, cut off by Katie Cox. Ortman will dump it back outside for Josmine Dysoloff. Dysoloff all the way forward. Miami able to run it down, courtesy of Nora Rausch.
Yeah, Rausch with a great clearance there for the RedHawks, but that was a great ball by Dysoloff. Trying to get that pass over the top to White and Gardner. Just couldn't find him there, but that was a great ball from the back.
Toward the box, it'll be Rausch again. Camber Hayes sliding to the ground there. Kept alive, Emily Sexton forward. All the way up top, through ball there, cut off by Gilmore. Katie Cox, touch back outside. Ruber goes forward this time. Bryn Gardner trying to run it down. Played towards Vicari, she'll come out and send it away. Go right out of play. Pressure there from Gardner. But she got around Rausch towards the end. Ruber with a throw into White. Back on the ground to Ruber. Towards the middle. They'll work through Cox. Dysoloff once again. Back and across midfield. Forward play there. Halted by Hamlet. Now Lacey Bethea back to Maya Dean. Forward to Bethea again, cutting towards the middle. Lofted towards the top of the box. Gardner gets there. And Vicari going to take it out of the air.
Yeah, nice pass played from Bethea, and that was a good move from Gardner. Able to get to the back shoulder, the blind shoulder of the defender, so she couldn't tell which angle she was coming from, and not able to connect on that ball the way she wanted to.
Ball played out inside the center circle. Both teams battling for a possession here. Sexton, Ortman. Contact from both. Finally settled down towards that back line for Miami. Forward. Serwin got a head on it. Still loose. Miami was right there. McKenna Morrison had it momentarily. Green was able to play it back out a little bit. Sexton now outside. Dysoloff to it first. Bethea trying to get a touch. Miami took it back. So consecutive touches for both teams. Bowling Green now back. Dysoloff. Forward play. Deflected into the Falcon bench.
Yeah, both teams just feeling each other out these first 10 minutes or so. A couple good nice crosses in the box. Nothing too dangerous, but both teams definitely just trying to get something going through the midfield, and both teams have had success doing that so far.
Back line, Rausch, near side. Little contact there between both players. And a foul going to be called on Morrison. Ortman outside. taken back away. Schleck. Back upfield, Katie Cox, a nice little boot behind her there to Ortman. Maya Dean forward, Kenna White down into the box. And played out by the RedHawks. Kennedy Gray. And there's Bowling Green head coach, Jimmy Walker. It looks to be a new orange coat down on the sideline.
It does.
And that is vibrant down there.
It is.
For Coach Walker. That is a vibrant orange if I've ever seen one, but I like the look.
For sure, yeah.
Throw in. Gilmore back toward the middle. Just over the head of Gardner. Carolyn Palmer was right there. Falcons still threatening near the top of the box. It's played out. Ruber will have to settle things down. Quickly turning back toward the middle. Dean. Knocked back down out of the air. Maya Dean to it once again. Touched down low. Bethay trying to run back to the ball.
Nice.
She gets there. Toward the middle. White with a head. Popped into the air and out of play.
Yeah, all this danger started from a great step over from Ruber to put that ball in. And Bethay did really well there for off-the-ball work rate. Able to keep that ball in, put that ball in. And Kenna White just couldn't steer that one on frame, but great attack for the Falcons.
Vakari sets the ball up. Out it comes. Katie Cox, the first one there. Gardner on it as well. Bethay. Amber Hayes battling with Bethay for the ball. Outside. RedHawks able to get it back out across midfield. Serwin and Morrison had contact there. Or no, Ortman and Morrison rather. And Ortman going to get called for the foul.
Yeah, Camber Hayes is going to be definitely the one to watch out for the Falcons in that midfield for the RedHawks. She's on the ball right now over this free kick, playing that defensive midfield position and sometimes center mid. She's got 8 assists on the season. She leads the RedHawks. She's definitely the danger man in the midfield. She likes to create a lot of things in the midfield. That's something the Falcons are going to have to limit if they want to be successful tonight.
Ball still on the edge of the box. Gilmore out to Teiseloff. And sent into the bench. So Miami will throw in, but Bowling Green pushes him out a little bit. And there's the coaching staff. Courtney Sermons, Ben Williams, Roberto Gallegos, all the coaches for this RedHawks program. Dean back, Gilmore. Forward, Gardner to White. White continues it on. Dean trying to go outside for Bethay. Contact there before it goes out of play by Kennedy Gray. Offside the call.
It's unfortunate because that throw was in a great position for the Falcons, and kind of a misheader from Gray, headed it backwards instead of clearing the ball forwards, but they could have ran on that if it wasn't cleared away with conviction.
So 13 minutes in, here's Izzy Vakari once again. Well out of the box. Played out across midfield. First touch in the air was from Maya Dean. Outside, Deiseloff again up the field. White back toward the middle. Katie Cox outside to Ruber. Ruber works it back to Cox in the middle. White, Cox. And Ruber again. One touch around Carolyn Palmer. Down low, pass toward the middle. Deflected out of play by Nora Rausch. A corner kick coming up for Bowling Green.
Yeah, first corner kick of the night for the Falcons. And that's the second or third time already this game that Ruber's had a good move down the sideline. That time just takes a touch to get around the defender and put a great ball in.
Corner kick, Bowling Green.
Falcons with a corner kick out of it.
And a really nice move down near the corner. So Maydeen and Josmine Deiseloff are going to play it short out of the corner. Into the box for Cox. Back to Dean. Into the middle. White shot up in the air. Cox trying to stay with it. Dean going to have some space to run it down. Trying to cut back down. It's taken away, sent out of play. Roush was right there. But interesting, we haven't seen that look on that corner yet from Bowling Green this season.
No, and right there, you kind of want to see White hit that first time. If she can hit that first time, then it might be able to get on goal instead of being blocked. But it was great work from the Falcons, especially from Dysloff and from Dean in that corner.
Ruber throws down towards the corner, gets it back from Dean. Toward the middle. White tracking it underneath. It scoots away. Hayes able to play it out of the box. Falcons trying to stay on the outskirts here. Ruber towards the net. Vakari skips out to it off the one-hop, picks it up. Just over 15 minutes into the match here. Played across, catches the backside of the head of Ortman. Dysoloff sends it into the men's soccer championship banners there, far side of the field. Once again, another throw in for Miami. Down low, Gilmore. Ortman gets it out. Lofted into the air by Bryn Garner. Roush settling it back down across. Played forward by Gray. Morrison trying to run it down. Off of Serwin. The Red Hawk throw in to ensue. Kenzie Ruber takes it away again. Back to Serwin. Out comes the ball. Roush changes direction. Back and forth here in the air. Finally brought to the ground. Maya Dean has it. Redhawks have it again. Miscommunication. Now Lacey Bethea trying to break out for Bowling Green. Battling on the outside. And a handball going to be called on Bethea.
That's unfortunate because Bethea with a great steal here. It was just dribbling and it was a good recovery from the Redhawks, and yeah, that's just unfortunate. Bounces off her hand.
Trying to get through that 2-on-1, just not enough that time.
And really, this is the first time since that first cross Miami had in the first 5 minutes of the game that they've had sustainability in the attacking half of the field. They haven't had a lot in the attack since that moment early on.
White across, looking for Ruber. Ruber with a lot of space back toward the middle. Katie Cox swinging it back outside. Ruber once again outside, down low. Bryn Gardner toward the middle. Crossing pass. White got a piece of it, looked like, but too much traffic. Morrison turns forward for Miami. Gilmore the first one to it. Back to Berg. In the air. Morrison and Serwin under it. Gilmore. And out it comes. Looks like perhaps offside, and indeed it will be. Free kick from Ruber. Knocked out of the air by Roush. Ball outside. Off of Miami. Ruber toward the middle. Hayes slides in and takes it away from Miami. Serwin with it. Outside, Gardner to Dean. Taken away by Hayes. Off of Katie Cox, out of play. Miami, another throw in here. Foul called on Carolyn Palmer. box for Bowling Green. Ruber, a free kick. Diceloff and Gilmore stand away. Right in towards the heart of the box. On the ground, Bowling Green scores! Maya Dean.
And Brandon, we talked about how important set pieces are going to be in this game. And Mackenzie Ruber's had fantastic crosses in this game and just fell counting to them in the box. And I believe that was Mindine who got on the end of that one and just put that in the net. What a great goal for the Falcons and a really important one.
Back on the attack for the RedHawks. The Falcons take a 1-0 lead early. Sent out a play by Gilmore. The RedHawks will have another throw in.
And if my math is correct, Brandon, that's only the 11th goal Miami's given up all season long. They've had a great defense this year, but the Falcons able to break through midway through this first half. And if I had to pick someone that has stand out in this game, Brandon, it's definitely been Ruber for the Falcons. She's had so much joy down that right-hand side. Her crosses have been elite this game, and you see that was on display right there with that fantastic ball played in. We're almost halfway, too, almost in the midway line.
Mackenzie Ruber, one of the veteran players for Bowling Green, 4 conference championship rings already, using her COVID eligibility year this season. Chance for 5.
Yeah.
Diceloff, a free kick here following the foul. There's the whistle. From Diceloff just outside the box. Miami to it first. Into the box it goes again. Amber Hayes plays it away. It skips into Miami's bench. Bowling Green will throw in. Dean trying to get it back to Diceloff. It's taken away by the RedHawks. Up that side, it rolls out of play. Diceloff will get another throw in for BG. Foul called there. So it'll be Diceloff this time. Bowling Green going to go with a similar setup to the last free kick that ended up in the back of the net here.
Similar distance as well.
Into the box. Far side this time. Ortman back in, bouncing around. A lot of traffic in the area. Miami able to push it out. Out to Ruber it comes. And right back out of play. Right into the ribs of Emily Sexton.
Yeah, that one's gonna hurt.
Maybe a little black and blue.
Maybe.
Outside, Ruber. Forward to Gardner. Gardner down towards the end. Hayes there trying to shield off Gardner. And it'll go to Vicari. So a nice job there by Camber Hayes.
Yeah, that just shows her quality she possesses on the field and her intelligence she has, able to shield off star freshman from the Falcons.
Out from Vicari. Both players to the ground. Ruber gets called for the foul. Hand on the shoulder of Palmer. Free kick, Hayes. Towards the top of the box. Deflected off Hamlet. Gruber back out in the air. White trying to get it back to Gardner on the outside. And it'll go with Miami as it comes over the touchline. Throw in for Roush, upfield. Palmer again, back to Sexton. White and Gardner trying to take it away. Out of play, last touched by the RedHawks. Sexton trying to plead her case, but Ruber's already got the throw in back into Cox. Off of Roush. It sort of twirls into the hands of Akari.
Yeah, I like the decision from Katie Cox as well to load a shot there, because that took a bad deflection. If that had just a little bit more power on that, then might have ended up in the back of the net.
Out of the air, Ortman, Sexton. Back and forth touches for their respective teams. Played forward for White. Hayes coming back to it. Cameron Hayes will play it to Palmer on the outside. Palmer up the side. Gardner comes in. Trying to get the ball back. Palmer pokes it away from Gardner, but out of play. Katie Cox, Serwin forward. White got to it first off her head. We'll have a throw in from Roush. Roush upfield, right on the line. Morrison kept it in. Gardner to Cox. Cox back to Dysoloff with a lot of space. Hamlet quick to close in, but not before Dysoloff gets it away upfield. Portman looking for Gardner. Long run to the ball here as it rolls out of play. And somehow that split the middle of Gardner and Palmer. And it looked like even Gardner thought that that would be knocked down, and then it gets by them both. Then played it back. Ortman forward for Bowling Green. Bethea trying to get to the ball. Cut off there. Kennedy Gray. Sexton to Palmer. Palmer forward. Gilmore back the other way for Bowling Green. In the middle, Roush. Upfield towards Sophia Cross. Bowling Green takes it back away. Dysoloff. Gardner taps it to White. White outside. Ruber a long way to run. Gets there toward the backside. Miami a lot of bodies in the area. Bethea has it, corner of the box, back toward the middle. Dean, Gardner. Gardner back across. Bethea trying to get to it again. Out of the box it comes.
They got to be careful here on this counterattack.
Miami trying to move upfield with some pace here. Forward, Dysoloff in the way. Hamlet will just let it go out. And Miami will have a throw. They'll also make a change. Kylie Beinecke in. And that'll give Palmer a rest. Off the throw, Dysoloff gets to it first. Maya Dean is there. Dean tries to play it forward. Roush was to it. White closed in quickly there, but Roush got the pass away. Sexton forward. Serwin there with the ball, and out it goes.
And you're really seeing the struggle from Miami to build through the middle to their front three. And that's really because Taylor Hamlet's not really moving off the ball as much. He really can't get away from Serwin or Dysoloff. So Miami doesn't have that option up top to create space in behind and spread those passes. They really don't have anyone up top moving the ball or making movement off the ball.
Both teams battling. And there you see Ruber taking another one away momentarily. Hayes got it off the deflection. In towards the box, sent out by Ortman. Comes another throw into the box. Up top, Hayes. Dean able to defend. Cox back to Ruber. Away it comes. Under it there with Schleck. Hayes gets it back.
Hayes has won so many duels in that midfield.
Serwin plays it out once again. And that's another good battle right there that you just kind of alluded to, was Hamlet and Serwin. Into the box once again, this time off Miami.
Yeah, don't take anything away from the Bowling Green center backs, both Serwin, Daislav, Ortman. Whole back line for Bowling Green have done really well this game in limiting the spaces that Miami have been trying to use.
Now Bowling Green will make their first change of the match. Elena Unkefer going to come on for Bryn Gardner. That'll shift Bethea over from the left side of the Falcon formation to the right side. Berg set to play it away.
Yeah, looks like Cox might get carded here.
And indeed, our first booking of the match as Katie Cox gets the yellow card.
Yeah, just extending that the leg on that follow through on that challenge on Hayes, and yeah, it's going to be a card.
Here's Hayes. Into the box, White up into the air. Popped out of the box, kept alive. Down it goes. Berg runs out to it. Played out, a little right rotation. Gray forward. There's Beinecke. Battling with Ruber. Out off of Bowling Green. Chance here for both teams to make some changes. Alexis Miller in for the Falcons. And then Kennedy Alberti in for the Miami RedHawks.
That's a dangerous header.
Berg right on it. But indeed, that ball kind of hung out there in front of the net.
And really, that's one of the most dangerous looks Miami's had this first half, besides that cross they had early on this half. It has been much of anything offensively for the RedHawks, and that's got to be frustrating.
Just across midfield. Ruber to it after some contact for Beinecke. Bethea to the ball. Battling on the outside. Beinecke gets it back. Morrison forward. Alberti fanned on it. Back to Gilmore. Hustle off over the top. Camber Hayes knocked it down. Bowling Green still with it on the outside. A little contact there. And it'll be
I think my team won that foul. Steve Walker in the Falcon bench was upset. There's a little grab of the jersey there after the Miami defenders kind of showing the ball out, and ref will make the call.
So here's Daislav. Into the box, knocked down right on the edge. Kept alive, Dean towards the net. Vicari comes out to her left to reel it in. Vicari sends this one well across midfield. Off Cox. Gilmore back to Berg. Right out of play. As Miami moves upfield, they'll have a throw. Down toward the corner. Falcons able to cut it off. Out it comes. White there. Back to Unkefer. Unkefer across to Buffet in the middle. Working back to that outside. Miami takes it away. Only momentarily. Cox gets it back. On the front line once again. White tries to play that forward ball to Buffet.
Great clearance.
And Roush sold out for it too.
For sure. Buffet was all in on that through ball.
And so not a corner, but a deep throw in here for Bowling Green. Dean back to Deiseloff. Dean once again. Turning toward the box, and a foul called.
I think it might have been offside. Not quite sure.
Indeed, right. Good eyes, partner. That one, a foul.
That one is definitely a foul.
Bakari setting up. Out of the air. Off the head of Mayadeen. Unkefer forward. Out into some empty space, picked back up by Kennedy Gray. Gray forward into the box. Looked like Gilmore slipped up a little bit. Hamlet goes down. Miami's fans asking for a foul as Hamlet went to the ground. Official waved that off. Here comes a shot off Miller. Picked back up by Miami. Down near that corner. Gruber and Miller battling there once again over that byline.
Yeah, I don't know if Morrison kind of just got caught in the grass or was just trying to draw a foul, but didn't look like a foul from up here. It was a good ball played in that was dealt with well from the Falcons. A great follow-up shot that was blocked. One of the most dangerous sequences from the RedHawks all first half.
Jaden Frigerio and Riley Clark in. Berg sends it away. Out of play, a throw in for Miami. Nope, a throw in for Bowling Green. And now Abby Coley coming on for Bowling Green.
Yeah, Abby Coley got her first Falcon goal a couple games ago.
A little push and shove away from the play. White went to the ground. Madeline Schleck was right there. Ball into Clark. Swung through to Dean, but it's taken away. Ball played forward. Morrison had a hard time doing anything with it. Clark back to it there with Sophia Cross. Players tangled up. Cross and Clark both to the ground. Camber Hayes comes away with it. Now Miami will work up that right side once again. Working back in from that outside. Alberti toward the box. There's a shot over the crossbar. And they're going to say it was deflected by Bowling Green. And that'll bring up a corner kick for Miami. Shot initially there was from Sophia Cross. And Camber Hayes out to that corner, and we talked about it. This is the area where Miami has really excelled this season.
Hayes 8 assists on the year. It's all came. A lot of it came from these corners.
Hayes into the box, back out to her with the left foot out to the top. Down towards the corner for Jerrio and Alberti. Both there. Out over the side, Miami to throw again. Just under 6 minutes left in the half. Miami working towards the box, trying to get that sustained pressure you were talking about. Off of Morrison at 1 hops into the awaiting arms of Bird.
It's definitely been a lot better from the RedHawks last 10 minutes or so in this game. Definitely a lot more stability in the attacking end and a lot more consistent attacks. And they're building out from the midfield to their front line a lot better than they were. And a lot has to do from that player right there, Hayes, has broken up so many Bowling Green attacks in that midfield.
Camber Hayes, still just a junior in this Miami RedHawks program. Seems like she's been around in this Mid-American Conference for a long time. A foul going to be called there.
Just tangle of feet.
Elena Unkefer picks up another foul. Alexis Miller forward there, off the goal kick from Vicari. Outside, the RedHawks have it again, up that right side, off Alberti, out of play. Bowling Green a chance to take back over. And a lot of what we've seen when Miami has gone down and gotten those chances, they've worked the ball up that right side.
Yep. They have, because Ruber has done such a good job locking down this right-hand side for the Falcons. Had a lot of throw-ins on her side, and none of them have come to anything. And it's mainly because of her defending.
Jana Searles into the game for Bowling Green, replacing Kenna White up top. Off the head of Unkefer, out of play. Miami quick with the throw-in. Trying to get up top in a hurry, deflected out of play by Gilmore. And here's another throw. Into the box it goes. Morrison got a piece of it. Alberti there as well. Just out of the top, Sexton tries a shot. Dean was right there in the way. Riley Clark trying to get around Camber Hayes, but Hayes takes it back. Hayes forward on the outside. Pass off towards the middle. Dean able to clear it back out toward the middle. Searle's going to be called for the handball as it came back down out of the air. See Camber Hayes. Free kick into the box, right at Berg, pops it away. Bowling Green trying to run it down and just out over the line.
That's great commitment. And goalkeeper instincts there from Lily Berg. Brand, that was brave of her to come off that line and just punch it out.
Loose in the box, there's a shot. Again, too much traffic in the way for that one to find its way towards Berg. It'll be a throw for Bowling Green here. Frigerio upfield. Finds Coley. Back towards Frigerio. Back into the middle, Sexton there for Miami. In the box. And out of play. But Miami, they've really stepped up their intensity as the half has gone along.
For sure, I would say they've been the better attacking team, especially ever since Bowling Green probably got that first goal. They kind of seem to take their foot off the gas just a little bit, especially in the attacking end. The RedHawks definitely getting a flurries of attacks to end this first half and try to find that equalizer.
A minute and 40 seconds between now and the end of that first half. Sexton forward on the outside. Ball worked back towards the middle. Here's a left-footed shot on the ground. And that one skied into the air.
And there was much better decision-making in the final third from the RedHawks. It really could be 1-1 if she just hit that pullback instead of putting that cross in the box initially. Then could have had a wide-open shot top of the 18, and who knows what could have happened.
1 minute to play here in the first half. Bowling Green out in front, 1-0 after the goal from Mayadeen earlier. Berg away. Sexton allows it to come to the ground. Hayes right there. Back forward for Morrison. Morrison weaves through two defenders toward the net. Berg makes a save one time, two times.
Oh.
Knocks it down with the left hand. And Lily Berg, what a save.
I mean, there's not much you can say about that, Brand. That was just a fantastic reactionary save there from Berg.
And Mercedes Schreier had that rebound. And Berg was still down, just puts the hand out, knocks it down. And I still have no idea how that didn't go in.
And looking, depending on the result of this game, Brent, that could be the difference between the two teams in this game.
An excellent sequence for Lily Berg as time expires here in the first half. Two saves keep Miami off the board. Bowling Green holds the 1-0 lead as we head to the halftime break.
Started with you. A breeze building momentum. A movement gathering force. Even before you could see it, you could feel it. The flutter of hope. The rush of potential. The inexplicable pull toward the edge of opportunity. Falcons take flight. 7 years ago, Bowling Green State University challenged our community to join us in changing lives for the world. Powered by the strength of Falcons who came before us, guided by our indomitable spirit. Together, we rise. Even as the world took new shape amidst a global pandemic, we fixed our sights on tomorrow's horizon. You gave, and it altered our course. You gave, and we are forever changed, united in our vision of the future. More than 38,000 donors answered the call, representing all 50 states and 26 countries. More than 160,000 contributions were given, raising over $250 million. $101.7 million in scholarship and student support funds were committed, creating 235 new scholarship funds to accelerate student success and accessibility. More than $28 million in gift revenue was received in fiscal year 2020 alone, our highest level of yearly philanthropic support, demonstrating the unparalleled commitment of Falcons in the face of extraordinary upheaval. Stirred by emotion, propelled by purpose, lifted by your empowerment, we are airborne. From historic gifts that changed our campuses to focused contributions ensuring that all Falcons soar. Your impact is profound. We are educating the world's next generation of trailblazers to forge ahead, honoring our historic strength in business education, preparing journalists, media, and communication professionals to seek the truth, skating with an eye toward the future, and building up our frontline healthcare heroes for those with the courage to respond and preserve our public health. This is not the end of a campaign. It's the beginning of our path forward. one renewed with meaning and optimism, unbridled by the conventions of how it's always been done. Because when Falcons take flight, we make a difference forever. Bowling Green State University, a public university for the public good.
My major does not define me.
I'll probably be working jobs that don't exist yet.
I want a fulfilling career and to make a difference.
A rewarding life starts with being true to yourself, then taking action. Our design coaches help identify what empowers you so you can think big, try boldly, and stay curious.
A BGSU education is bigger than a degree.
It's a toolkit.
For a life of purpose.
So my name is Sadia Azmi, and I'm from Mumbai, India, and my major is psychology. BGSU was my choice because I did a lot of research and I applied to quite a few universities and I got through them too. But BGSU's program for IO is ranked really highly, actually ranked number 3 in the country. And so it was an easy choice. So when I got here, you have to understand that I'm coming from Mumbai, which is just kind of called the New York of India. And so it was a big, busy city, and coming to Bowling Green was like, whoa, like what century? Something has changed here. Initially, it was a little bit of a surprise shock. But then as I got to meet people, you know, I met my advisor here on campus, and then I made friends just living in the dorms. Slowly, I knew nobody when I came to campus. But slowly I made so many friends that within a month or two, it just started feeling great being here. I have volunteered at the ISA, that is the Indian Student Association, and also at a few events of Global Connections, which is a campus come outside organization where they help out international students. And besides that, I just make it a point to attend every other event that I can, you know, be it the Chinese Student Association or the World Student Association or the African American Student Association. All of that just to get to, you know, meet new people, learn new things. So after I finish this semester at BGSU, I'm going back to India to get married. And then I'm coming back in January. I have this internship that I have planned for the next semester. Probably I will be continuing with the internship that I'm doing right now. And then I will also be taking my GREs and then applying to schools for my PhD program. I would definitely recommend BGSU to students. My opinions, my views were really, really valued here. And especially for international students, because you bring a different perspective. I have observed that professors and, you know, teachers on campus here really value that. So like, you know, in class I would be asked, what is your opinion? Like, and in a very nice way, like, not like in an outsider, oh, you know, what do you think kind of thing. And also, it has been just a great learning experience and definitely recommending it.
At Bowling Green State University, we are a public university for the public good. A nationally ranked research university, we create public good through our graduates who lead and our collective pursuit of impact in Ohio and beyond. Founded in the Midwest, we never shy away from hard work. We embrace our responsibility to do good. We are proud to have state in our name. It's who we are, always striving forward. Always a public university, always for the public good.
My definition of a frontline Falcon is somebody who works in a discipline that provides services to people when they're very vulnerable.
They are there every single day taking care of our loved ones when we can't.
Early on in the pandemic, it was clear to me that our students and faculty were going to need to be out on the front lines working. Our medical laboratory sciences students participated in COVID testing as soon as COVID testing was possible. Our long-term care administration students and alums provided very compassionate care to people who were isolated and alone. Our nursing graduates got out into the workforce a month earlier than they would normally be.
Our graduates were able to enter the workforce on a temporary nursing license. and those graduates hit the floor running. The School of Nursing began in July of 2020, and it was really a fitting time in history to create a nursing program to help increase the demand.
There's many, many ways that the disciplines in the College of Health and Human Services rapidly made adjustments and began delivering services to the community.
We thank you for answering the call to come to this profession, and we thank you for everything you do day after day.
Thank you all for being here today. You are here because you made the decision to be collegiate student athletes. So clap it up for yourselves. So let me ask you a question. Raise your hand if you want to win a conference championship. Raise your hand if you want to win a national championship. National championship. Keep your hands up if you're willing to wake up 4:30 in the morning for mandatory workouts. Those hands will go down because not everyone's willing to make those sacrifices. Keep your hands up if you're willing to put student first. All the responsibilities that it takes to be a student athlete. Are you up for that challenge? The lifelong friends that you will make, the failed attempts that you will learn from, the education that you will earn will all develop you for life after sports. So I'll ask you, are you willing to compete? Are you willing to execute? And are you willing to be a leader? Are you ready?
I think education changed dramatically through the pandemic.
We saw teachers being incredibly creative and reaching out to one another to network for ideas to keep students engaged and still learning.
Our commitment was to make sure that people were educated, to do it in a safe environment. One faculty member brought a camper and parked outside to meet students there.
We could space out and do the office hours in a socially distanced, safe manner. And I just wanted to let my students know that I'm a real person outside of the Zoom box.
For a lot of faculty, this was the first time they've been teaching online, but for faculty in our college, we've had robust online programming for years. And they became really great resources. Starting in the spring of 2020, we worked with local school districts to organize these academic enrichment camps. Our faculty, staff, and students, we made a difference in people's lives, and I think that's what a public university for the public good should be about.
Colleges and universities are no longer accepting just a student. We are accepting an entire support network and family unit with them. How do we engage and leverage our families to be supporters and partners so their students can be more successful inside and outside the classroom? Parent Family New Student Connections was created and established in November 2020 to provide support, communication, advocacy, education for our families. We're not asking our families to drop them off and leave. We're actually saying, be a partner. One of our favorite new initiatives is during move-in weekend, we've hosted a tassel ceremony where we have given our families a tassel, which is a promise from the institution that their voice and presence and support and partnership will make the difference in helping their students be successful. As we evolve as a department, one of the ways that we want to activate our current families is creating a parent council. Having voices of current families advise our department, we are working towards the same goal, which is retaining and graduating our students.
Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are.
You don't know what you don't know, but at the same time, you have to be sensitive about the different things that are going on in people's lives.
We're all struggling and we're all fighting a battle, and we have to figure out how to build that bridge.
We ultimately want them to leave and do public good through teaching physical education and health education. We want to promote moving.
Kids very early on, probably 18 months to 2 years, kids can initially start to interact in types of activities where they are, for example, running, skipping, hopping. So just getting somebody to roll a ball and a child to go after it, collect it and bring it back, that's perfectly permissible for young children to start doing. And then obviously over a period of time, those skills begin to develop.
It's really important that we have strong role models. We call it observational learning. And I think when we grow up with seeing people that we admire partaking in physical activity, we're more likely to do that, whether that be a professional person or someone like a parent. When we see them active, more than likely we're going to be active. And I think that's really important that we instill physical activity from a young age.
As kids approach kindergarten, preschool, we're starting to teach them the importance of different types of locomotor skills: hopping, skipping, running, jumping, galloping. Those sort of skills will initially provide a foundation for later on skill development, also develop their critical thinking, decision making in games and sports. That's something else that we can do, as well as teaching them how to interact with one another.
It started with you. A breeze building momentum. A movement gathering force. Even before you could see it, you could feel it. The flutter of hope, the rush of potential, the inexplicable pull toward the edge of opportunity. Falcons take flight. 7 years ago, Bowling Green State University challenged our community to join us in changing lives for the world. Powered by the strength of Falcons who came before us, guided by our indomitable spirit. Together, we rise. Even as the world took new shape amidst a global pandemic, we fixed our sights on tomorrow's horizon. You gave, and it altered our course. You gave, and we are forever changed, united in our vision of the future. More than 38,000 donors answered the call, representing all 50 states and 26 countries. More than 160,000 contributions were given, raising over $250 million. $101.7 million in scholarship and student support funds were committed, creating 235 new scholarship funds to accelerate student success and accessibility. More than $28 million in gift revenue was received in fiscal year 2020 alone, our highest level of yearly philanthropic support, demonstrating the unparalleled commitment of Falcons in the face of extraordinary upheaval. Stirred by emotion.
Back here at Cochrane Stadium, we're getting ready to go for half number 2. The Bowling Green Falcons on top of the Miami RedHawks right now, 1-0 in a game that we talked about could have some tournament implications here in a couple of weeks. So Bowling Green the upper hand right now, but Miami, Lucas, they played really strong towards the end of the first half.
They did, and they ended up having 9 shots at the end of the first half when they only had 1 pretty much throughout the majority of the first half. The last 15 minutes or so, the Miami RedHawks pretty much dominated the majority of the game towards the end of that first half, and Lily Berg made that huge save last minute to keep a 1-0 lead for the Falcons, which is still just really impressive.
Bowling Green kicking it off to start the second half. Ortman forward looking for Bethea, just a stride too far out in front. Back and forth there. Miami's throw in out of the back. Upfield. Nice off. Gilmore back to Serwin. Over to Ruber. Ruber forward in the direction of White. Back to Ruber again. Steps around one defender. Mackenzie Ruber into the box. Hayes quickly deflects it away. Cox towards the top. There's White. Back to Dean. And just cut it off the top of her foot.
Yeah, just kind of got underneath the ball there on that shot. Unfortunately, just went over the bar for the Falcons. And it's going to be really important, Brand, to get that second goal. Definitely don't want the RedHawks to tie it up here. Make it an even game. Definitely want to get that second goal, get that insurance goal, and come out with the same intensity and aggressiveness they did in the first half. Nice ball played out. That's one thing if you're a RedHawks fan, you definitely want to see more of in this second half. You want to see a lot more movement from the front two, from Taylor Hamlet and McKenna Morrison.
Moving back toward the middle are the RedHawks, taken away by Ortman. Just pass Gardner, and it'll roll right into that Bowling Green bench. An upfield throw for Miami. Sexton, Dean closing in there. Sexton goes to the ground, but not before she gets it off forward to McKenna Morrison. Ball outside now. Ruber's going to run it down. Palmer, Ruber. There's Gilmore. Back up through the middle. Dean trying to keep it on for Bowling Green. Outside, Gardner cutting back toward the middle. A little bit of contact.
Didn't see a foul in there, but that was just a great hard run from Gardner.
And now the Bowling Green coaching staff on the right side of your screen. They've all got the matching orange jackets on down there. Right back to Ruber off the throw. Sexton looking forward for Hamlet. Outside, Gilmore will just clear it off. Throw into Sexton. Lofted toward the middle of the field. Cross was right there. Now Hamlet, twisting and turning, pass toward the middle. Sexton, down low, back across.
Great block.
Yosmine Deiseloff right in the way as Schreier trying to play it back across the front of the net.
Yeah, that was great movement there from the RedHawks. It was a great pass, able to find one of their players. That was Schreier with that cross. That was a great block from Deiseloff.
Schleck. Ortman bounding outside. Bethay gonna knock it down. All the way forward. And just a hard touch there to get around Kennedy Gray. Too hard.
Yeah, too hard, and took a wrong touch with the inside of her right foot there that caused the ball to go out. But it was a good control from Bethay, able to bring that ball down. And you know, she's lethal with her speed. Just that final ball hasn't always been there.
Deiseloff into Dean. Gonna touch it back outside. Deiseloff into the middle. Bethay, Gardner. Schleck there. Bethay back to it. Looking forward for Gardner and just out of the reach of the freshman.
That's a great combination there from the front three for the Falcons, from Gardner, Bethay, and White. That's what you like to see if you're Walker and the Falcons. Want to see your front three active, making movements off the ball, able to create other spaces and exploit other areas.
In the middle, Dean. Bethay toward the front of the net. Vicari. Watch that one in off the right side all the way. Five and a half minutes in. Gardner back inside. Schreier got a piece of it there. That's what sent it out as she went sprawling forward into the grass.
Looks like she lost her cleat. That's something you see every game. But it does happen.
Little stop in the action to fix the shoe for Schreier. Throw in from Dysoloff. A little bit of back and forth. Gardner has it. Nearly taken back away by Hamlet. Miami will get the ball. Hayes forward. On the outside. Off the head of Dysoloff. Miami back to it. Schreier to throw in again. Hamlet back to Schreier. Lofted towards the net. Ooh. And right on top of the net it falls. Berg was right underneath of it. Slight wave of the hand. Everybody going to come forward now for the Falcons. Off the head of Ortman. The RedHawks were right there. Gilmore sent it out. And it seems like Emily Sexton has gotten closer and closer to that one huge opportunity for Miami. Throw-in goes into the box. Back out off the head of Gilmore. Ortman clears away. One hops into the bleacher stand. Fence.
Looks like Miami's now playing more of a 3-5-2. Brandon, not sure that's what they started with to start the first half. Looking to try to play a similar formation to the Falcons and throw some numbers forward and search for that equalizer.
Maya Dean calling for the ball outside. White forward. Roush cleared it away. Not sure it went the way she wanted to. It looked like it actually ended up carrying behind her.
Yep.
Give the Falcons a little bit better positioning on the throw. Throw-in goes to Bethea, cutting inside toward the middle. Pass off to Dean, back to Bethea, into the box. Contact there, down goes Bethea. Vicari scoops it up. And anytime you see someone go down in the box, there's a lot of noise, whether it's from one side or the other of the fans in the bleachers.
There is, and it did look like from first glance, Brent, there was some contact there. I'm not quite sure. It was 100% a pen. Not sure if we'll get another look at it, but you are definitely right. Like you said, anytime there's contact in the box, there will be a lot of noise from the crowd.
Schreier slides through it there. Ball out of play. Put back in off the throw. Into the middle. Cross back outside to Hayes. There's Hamlet. Hayes again. Upfield. Gilmore. Light contact there. Out of play. Sophia Cross once again. Down into the box. Ooh. Down went Ortman, a foul called there on the RedHawks. Berg sends it away. Put back on the ground by Sexton. Dysoloff to it. Gardner and Schreier both battling there. Hamlet and Dysoloff. Now Sexton with the ball. 4 or 5 touches there before she plays it towards the corner. Dysoloff the first one to it in front of Schreier. Bowling Green will force Miami to throw. Into the box. Backside, Gilmore was there once again. White lofts forward, far side of the field. Roush back to Vicari. Vicari, Roush.
Yeah, Miami's definitely came out in the second half the same way they ended the first half. A lot of aggression and a lot more intensity to start this game, to start the second half that they didn't have in the first half. Bad play there.
Ooh, handball called on Gardner there. As off the touch, it traveled up into her arm. And a free kick for Camber Hayes. The delivery from Hayes into the box on these has been consistent today. And there's another over the top, but into the hands of Berg.
Yeah, Hamlet's movement's been definitely a lot more lethal in the second half so far. Her and Morrison are getting a lot more touches, a lot more flicks on those throw-ins, on those balls played in. In fact, I'm just going to have to limit that because Danger can be creative with those opportunities.
Ball up front for Bowling Green. Ruber touches on Bethea. Into the box, working in that corner. Double team forces Bethea. Back outside, pass across, intended for White. Deflected, Miami sends it out. Throw in coming, and they're attacking into the field for Bowling Green. And they'll say that Ruber didn't bring the throw all the way back. So Miami will have the throw. And now we'll go back the other way. Katie Cox takes the throw in from Ruber. Back to Cox. Into the box. White some contact with it. Dean charging in there as well. Miami able to clear it out of the box. Back out near midfield. Hamlet. Dyseloff battling with Hamlet. Back they'll go. There's Gray. Up through the middle. Morrison. And Gilmore just continuing to battle. Now out front. The center back out of the back line. Things opening up front. Gilmore with a pass to White. White, the shot. Ooh, high of the crossbar.
What a run from Gilmore. That would have stayed on Hamlet, making her give it the ball, and stayed on Morrison. And Morrison just took way too long with that ball, and it was a turnover from Gilmore and a good shot from White. Just unfortunately went over the crossbar.
Kylie Beinecke back in. And Gilmore just recently transitioned to that center back role. She played midfield for most of this season and last season for Bowling Green. So she's someone that knows how to get up and down the field. And with Mackenzie Ortman out there for Bowling Green, who's also played some center back at times in addition to the midfield, they have the ability to do that if they need to and swap positions and have someone there still that knows what they're doing in that center back spot.
For sure, and having a team that's flexible and can play multiple positions is also as a team that every coach wants to have, and they definitely have that here for BG.
Second corner kick of the night for Bowling Green. Dyseloff in the corner. Dean right next to her. They went short last time. We'll see if they play it the same way this time. Nope, Dyseloff all the way in. Off the head of Ortman. Backside wide. Jaden Frigerio going to come in for Bowling Green. And so we talked about the flexibility for Bowling Green. Jaden Frigerio played forward last year, has played a lot of defender this year on the outside, coming in there for Mackenzie Ruber. Or no, for Bryn Gardner, rather. Normally, in the first half, she checked in for Mackenzie Ruber.
Yep.
Ruber with the ball there. Towards midfield, contact there. Last touch by Miami. Bowling Green will throw once again. ball went out on that far side. Throw in. Knocked out of the air by Bethea. Hayes has it once again. To the back line for Miami. Gilmore there on the forward play from Hayes. White outside. Bethea going to cut back towards the middle. Back to White. Katie Cox outside. Ruber again. Trying to find the edge right into the hands of Akari. Maybe some initial contact there, deflection on the shot from Ruber, but it still made it all the way there to Vicari with some power. Miami now with the ball back out at midfield. Hamlet. Mackenzie Ruber steps in the way there. Maya Dean will go back to Gilmore. Gilmore run here again.
Oh, what a run.
All the way back to front before the pass off to Bethea. Ruber knocks it down on the edge. Couldn't keep it in.
In the first half, you kind of saw Morrison, more of a number 10 or kind of a false 9 or second forward, occupying that space in the midfield when Bowling Green has the ball. But not right now, her and Hamlin are up top as two strikers trying to occupy 2 of the 3 center backs for Falcons.
Ruber on the outside once again for Bowling Green. Toward the middle, toward Vicari. She makes the save, top of her reach. Across midfield, out of play. We'll get a whistle. Ruber will throw. Off of Serwin and out. Miami trying to make an upfield charge again. Hamlet running towards the ball. Gilmore there to defend. Hamlet gets around Gilmore into the box. Ortman there on the end of it. Dean continues it on. White back toward the middle. There's Ortman. Forward, 2-on-1 for Bowling Green if Maya Dean can get there. Indeed she can. Back toward the middle. Bethea, down goes Hayes, back outside. Dean once again. Pass for White taken away by Emily Sexton.
That was such a good build-up from Bowling Green, just unfortunately just couldn't get a shot off.
Far side of the field, the RedHawks gonna try again. In the first half, they worked through the right side a lot, this time through the left. One hops into the awaiting arms of Berg. Shot from Morrison. Well across midfield. In the back, Gray there. Down went Ortman. Oh. Official waved anything off there. Dyseloff forward. Bethea a little tangled up there with Roush. Ortman upfield. Down towards the corner. A little bit too much leg there from Ortman that time.
Yeah, didn't recognize it right when Ruber made that run, but just a little too much power on that ball, lobbed it in.
So there's Vicari once again. Toward the outside. It'll go with Miami. Much to the dismay of the Bowling Green coaching staff. Sent forward. Gilmore there once again. Buffet forward on the outside, wanted it to go to White. Good defense there on the back by Roush. Out of play. A throw in for Miami. Change going to be made here by the RedHawks. And Julia Hoffman going to come in. Buffet looking for White. Roush went down there. Off White again. Battling for the ball is Ruber. Wortman forward, down towards that corner once again. And I think it rolled about the same distance over the touchline once again. Only a couple of feet as we approach halfway through the second half.
Yeah, the Falcons definitely have gotten into a lot of good looks. Just haven't been able to find that last end product, last piece, that final ball, that last shot. Because now we're getting to the point where midway through the first half where that second goal can become crucial. And the RedHawks haven't looked all too threatening the last 5 or 10 minutes or so.
And that's what I was going to ask you, too. We saw the goal from Bowling Green come in the first half, but I feel as if Bowling Green has dominated more the second half than they did the first.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. And, you know, I think Miami definitely did come out with a lot more intensity.
Buffet making the run this time off of one of the RedHawks. It'll bring up another corner for the Falcons.
Yeah, Miami's came out with a lot more intensity to start the second half as they did the first, but Falcons have as well, and they did that in the first half as well. So if you're the Falcons, you have to give credit to how aggressive they've been this game and just the pressure they put on Miami all game long. Able to get that first goal about midway through the first half, and looking to add a second here from this corner kick.
Dysaloff over to it. Toward the middle. Backside, White was trying to track it. Contact in the box. And the foul going to be called on Kenna White. Vakari sends it back out into the midfield circle. Dean out of the air. Forward for Jerrio. Back across into the middle. Buffet the shot. And right in the way was Kennedy Gray. Another good build-up for Bowling Green, but the RedHawks stand tall in the box. There'll be another corner for the Falcons.
Yeah, once again, great offensive display there from the Falcons. Good ball front for Jerrio, and Buffet, left foot is her weaker foot, but it was good for her to get that shot off. Good block, and when they get another corner off that Ruber cross. And look, the past couple of times, Falcons have left kind of on top of the 18 and to make their runs in when the ball is played, but now it looks like they're crowding the keeper.
Dysaloff back in through the corner. In the air. Backside, Bethea to it. Ortman. Cleared away by the RedHawks. Gilmore back to it. Towards the top of the box. Miami there again. Dysaloff again. And offside on Bowling Green. Vakari just outside the edge of the box. Over the head of Hayes. Dean. Now White. Outside for Jerrio. Some space to run it down. Back across toward the middle. On the run, Ruber almost had one. But Vakari right there off the bounce.
I mean, have yourself a game, Mackenzie Ruber. She's put in about 10 crosses all the night, and all of them have been on target and been able to find her teammates. But now she's on the receiving end of these crosses, challenging for those balls in the air, and unfortunately just couldn't put that one on target.
Into the air off of Ortman, 3 players to the ground. And it looks like we are going to get a card. And they're going to give that card to Kenna White. And I thought there was even a push behind White.
I did too. I thought there was a push initially behind White. It looks like the ref's just going to card White on the follow through on that challenge, and it looks like the ref's going to have to explain to one of the Miami coaching staff. And you can see Coach Walker and the rest of the Bowling Green staff aren't happy about that call.
Kenna White not happy either. A little shrug there, as there was an explanation given.
And they've called a lot of fouls on White tonight. They've watched her closely. One of the most physical players for the Falcons.
Into the box, off the free kick. It's caught up in the air between about 4 bodies. Arms were locked. The ball was hanging out there on the top.
Yep. Yeah, the ball just was in between about 2 RedHawk players and 2 Falcon players, and the lock of the arms, and the foul going to go in favor of the Falcons, as most of the time. Foul does go in favor of the defense on a free kicks played like that.
Ortman forward, just over the head of Bethea, trying to get the ball back on the outside. Gray right there. Kept on the ground, ball still live. Battle there. And a foul going to go against Miami this time, as Lexi Serwin had come forward. Foul going to go against McKenna Morrison. Free kick time for Mackenzie Ruber. Into the box. Serwin was under it. Offside again on Bowling Green. Vakari out. Dean the first to it, off of Hayes as well. Ruber tries to play it on the outside. Hoffman in front of it. Ruber working it back toward the middle, trying to get through 2 defenders. Miami able to take it away. RedHawks upfield. Ball back into the middle. Into the box. Ooh. The RedHawk bench wanted a call. Shot there. Just off the left foot of Schreier. And Berg able to get in front of it with ease.
I think Miami might have had a case there. Hamlet looked like there was some contact after the shot. There, Miami obviously not happy about that call, but refs had a lot of non-calls, kind of letting them play within this second half.
Here's Hamlet again on the outside. Dysel there, sends it out of play. And immediately, you're right, back that contact towards the top of the box when Hamlet went down. Serwin knew they made contact because she put her hands up in the air, trying to say it was accidental.
Yep.
Of course, sometimes we see that it was accidental, like it was there, or sometimes the hands going up in the air don't really mean a whole lot. Dysel pops it into the air. Off of Hayes, it goes out. Bowling Green will get a throw. And Bowling Green going to make some changes. Bryn Gardner, Elena Unkefer, both going to come in. Both the freshmen out of White House, Ohio, playing for Lori Williams and Anthony Wayne. Throw in there for Frigerio, into Dean. Ortman battling for the ball as well. Sent to the ground, Hayes. Outside, Morrison. Morrison makes a bolt. Down low, Gilmore defends. Once again, it'll be Morrison. Dysel Thought it was off Morrison.
And both
is Dysel's case.
And both teams saying it's off one another, but
naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Once again, it'll be another Miami throw-in.
Miami into the box. Bowling Green able to defend on the initial throw. Camber Hayes back now. Madeline Schleck towards the top of the box. Kennedy Gray in the middle. Hamlet, Morrison, both there. Back to Schreier. Now on the back line. Roush going to push forward on the outside. Hoffman back toward the middle. Top of the box. Hamlet again. Help from Schreier. The ball goes on a play.
And then you say, take a deflection.
So Miami will get a corner. Their second of the night.
Look, to me, it just went through the legs of Sherwin, I believe. Not quite sure who that player was for BG. Was defending, but
corner kick, Miami.
only one player back for the RedHawks on this corner.
Camber Hayes to the corner with 13:35 left on the clock here in the second half. On the ground. Back to Hayes. Lofted in this time backside. Maya Dean was in the way. Dean there again. Lone player in the back is Gray. Over the top of the head of Schleck. Roush back to Vicari.
I'm not sure what the initial plan was.
Maya Dean, open space. She'll fire the shot. Scooped up. Right off the ground by Vicari.
Yeah, good shot from Dean. I love the decision to take a shot from distance, but I'm not sure what the initial plan was from the RedHawks on that corner kick. You have everyone up except one defender. I don't know why you're playing it short just to play the little back end. Just put the ball in.
And right there, I mean, just the way that that corner built up from the time that it left Hayes' foot till Vicari touched it at the other end. That was what we were talking about during the top of the broadcast when we mentioned when you commit to the set piece like Miami does so often, it becomes extremely difficult to defend if Bowling Green is able to make a run, is able to get in transition, and that's what we saw right there. Fortunately for Miami, it works out for them to where they didn't allow a goal, but right there, just a glimpse of sort of what we talked about. Gruber gets a touch, running towards the corner. Morrison has it down low. Gruber comes in and slides through the ball. It'll be another corner for Miami here.
Yeah, initial challenge from Gruber was a foul. Ref decided to play advantage, and great tackle there. I was clean, but another corner kick for the Falcons, and still not quite sure why you want to play it short here, but we'll see what they do here.
Hayes once again out wide, has Beinecke near. Hayes in, Ortman was right there. Beinecke gonna run it down. And there's Ortman once again, this time out of play. Throw in into the box. Katie Cox there this time. Schleck out back for the RedHawks. Forward, Morrison. Ortman there again for Bowling Green. Unkefer underneath of it, knocks it down out of the air. Unkefer out front, back toward the middle, outside to Frigerio. Just on the edge of the box, slowing it down. Backside, and under the scoreboard it goes. Gruber a little bit behind the run this time.
Yeah, that was just a great vision and great pass from Unkefer, and that was a great run from Frigerio, who made that run on that left-hand side, and just too much on that cross. And obviously, if the Falcons were to get a second goal, it'd be huge, especially with 10 minutes left in the second half.
Vicari coming out to it. She'll replace here for the free kick. Maya Dean to it. going to be called. And now it'll be Camber Hayes. Hayes forward, down near the top of the box. Back out it comes. Kennedy Gray lofts it in. Deiseloff knocks it to the ground. Katie Cox going to pick it up out wide. Cox using as much green space as she can. Forward. Kennedy Gray. Hoffman, one-touch pass outside. Deiseloff there is the last defender once again for Bowling Green. Unkefer forward, lofts the pass to Gardner. Gardner trying to get around the outside. Slows down, waits until Bowling Green is able to get some more personnel in the area. Back to Ruber. Toward the middle, off the head of Hayes. Maya Dean tries a shot, knocked out of the air. Katie Cox there, and that one goes wide.
And that was a great opportunity for the Falcons to get that second. But great defending from the RedHawks, great block. But I believe that was Gray who blocked that.
Emily Gardner and Alexis Miller in for Bowling Green. Roush and Miller both made contact there. Schleck was right behind. It'll go out of play off of her.
Yeah, Emilia Gardner, sister of Bryn Gardner. Looks like Walker's trying to have some more defenders come in this game. Maybe to see this one out.
Katie Cox back to Gilmore. Gilmore forward, off the head of Gardner. Schleck trying to shield off Unkefer. Back to Vicari. Unkefer continues on. Vicari just short right there. Ball gets by Emily Gardner. Serwin back to it. Near midfield. Put back on the ground by the RedHawks. Katie Cox forward, off the head of Unkefer. Bryn Gardner trying to get there. Vicari quickly brings it back out to Roush. Roush near side. Schreier back toward the middle. Left-footed pass. Foul called on Lexi Serwin. So Camber Hayes once again. Into the box. Berg comes out to it. Knocks it down. Out it comes. Bryn Gardner to the far side of the field for Emily Gardner. Miami trying to keep the pressure on. Off the head of Serwin. The RedHawks will have to reset with a throw. And you can tell the intensity starting to ramp up for Miami. Yeah, because the urgency is there. You've only got 6 minutes left in this contest.
Yeah, and Berg did really well there to come off her line, make herself big and punch that one out.
Hayes once again, back toward the middle. Hamlet underneath of it. Hoffman there as well. Serwin in as well. Hoffman once again. Katie Cox sends it away. Unkefer out to Emily Gardner. Gardner back across the field. Frigerio to it. And just slightly tripped up by Roush.
Yeah, that was just miscommunication from the RedHawks back line, but credit for Frigerio pouncing on that one.
Vicari plays it out. Schreier got the head to it. Hamlet. Dean forces it out of play. Schreier again, cross back to Schreier. Frigerio there. Some hard contact. Camber Hayes calling for the ball. Towards the far side of the box. Miami will have to wait for it to come out of the air. Serwin under it. Ball still near the top of the box. There's a shot.
Ooh.
That one well wide for Miami.
And finally for Miami, look at a shot off. You have all these set pieces, Brand, but they haven't gotten anything out of it. They've had a lot of balls float on the top of the 18. They haven't gotten any shot to test Lily Berg. The only thing she really had to do was come off her line right there.
Kenna White back into the game for Bowling Green. Berg sends it away. Off the head of Serwin. Bryn Gardner all the way forward. Kenna White trying to get to it. Kennedy Gray was able to defend. Back up through the middle. Kennedy Gray takes the shot off of Gilmore straight up into the air. Comes down in the box, cross nearest to it. Gilmore just going to hold it in down near the corner. Katie Cox. And now they'll send it out of play, but precious time taken away from the RedHawks with the Falcons just holding that ball down there in the corner. Throw into the box. Back out it comes, lofted in the air, and off the head, out of play.
And one thing to look forward to, Brandon, is White is that striker for the Falcons, that outlet. She didn't want to go all in on that challenge. That's why Gray was able to make that run all the way up, because she's sitting on that yellow card. She doesn't want to get a second yellow and possibly suspended for the next game.
Berg sent it away, but out of play it comes. There's a throw in from Schreier. Deiseloff back up into the air. Thrown in by Cross. Once again, back out of play. Urgency at a high here with 2.5 minutes left. Camber Hayes goes down. Ball lofted in. Berg underneath of it. Shot attempt there from Cross. Berg sends it well across midfield. Roush underneath of it. Frigerio there. Back to Roush. Forward again. Hamlet through the legs. Deiseloff takes it away for Bowling Green, but right there is Camber Hayes. Back line, Serwin into the middle. Alexis Miller with space. Forward. But now Miami will have to play back to Vicari. Now on the far side of the field, it's Gray. Through the middle of the field, 90 seconds left. Frigerio turns the direction. Dean to the outside. Roush back to Vicari once again. Vicari will bring it out. Miller tried to get to it. Miller and Hayes both went down. A little bit of contact there between Serwin and Morrison. That's been another thing that we've had frequently tonight. Miller forward. Off the head of White. Schneck ran it down. Into the bench, Miami to throw, 40 seconds left. Julia Hoffman. Out of play, now Camber Hayes to it. Hayes forward. And now we'll get a stop of the clock. Card goes to Alexis Miller.
I believe the foul was on. I think that was Camber Hayes because she was down on the ground on that foul. But this is going to be the last chance for the RedHawks.
Free kick from distance for Hayes. Short. Miami trying to put it into the box, give themselves an opportunity. White knocks it away. Back to Hayes again. One more try toward the middle. Maya Dean there once again. And White puts it into the bench. And that is going to be it. Bowling Green gets the win on the home field at Cochrane Stadium. A big win for the Falcons here as we inch closer and closer. Just a couple of games left towards the conference tournament. Unfortunately for Miami, that means they're going to fall down in the standings. They'll drop behind Bowling Green. So this might be a matchup that we see again here in about 2 weeks.
It is, and we talked how important set pieces were going to be in today's match, and Bowling Green's goal came from that set piece from Rupert that Maya Dean was able to put away. And Bowling Green defended set pieces and a lot of crosses tonight very, very well on Walker, and the Falcons have to be happy with that. And they jumped Miami in the MAC standings.
Maya Dean, the goal from Mackenzie Ruber, Dean's third of the year, but we can't forget about Berg's saves to end the first half. That was big for Bowling Green.
Yeah, it was a massive save for Berg, and on a night where she didn't have too much to do besides defend a lot of crosses, but she came up huge in that save and ultimately was a decider.
But that will do it from us here. For my partner, Lucas Kleinmeyer, Brandon Lowe, saying so long. Have a great night. Bowling Green takes down Miami 1-0 in this one.